Hello and welcome to Mr. Marshall Flipped. This unit we're going to start with an introduction to body systems. Now body systems are the systems that make up the human body or any body in general. But we're going to be looking at five main systems, five systems that are critical for a human body to function healthily. These that we're going to look at are the skeletal and muscle system, the circulatory system, the digestive system, the respiratory system, and the reproductive system. Now, each of these systems is really important. They've got a function to play, and they all interact with each other, okay? They're not just this one's over here doing its thing, this one's over here doing its thing. They really come together, and the human body is immensely complex in the way that it works. We're going to try and break it down and make it really simple for you guys to understand. So let's go down just to introducing each of them a little bit and give you an overview before we go into each of these systems in more detail and really break them down and really understand what's going on. So, skeletal and muscle system. This is the framework that your body hangs on. Okay, your skeleton gives you your shape. If you didn't have your skeleton, you'd be a blob on the floor. A bit like a jellyfish. A jellyfish doesn't have a skeleton. The only reason it can keep its shape is because it's out in the ocean. As soon as it's on land, no shape. Okay, the other thing though is it protects us, right? I've got a rib cage that protects all of my vital organs from getting damaged. If I get hit in my chest, it's gonna hurt, but you got to break ribs before you can get to my lungs or my heart or any of that really vital part. And we actually have two sections to our skeleton. We've got our axial skeleton. That's the center part, the rib cage and the spine and the skull, sort of the core that holds everything tight. And then we've got the appendicular skeleton. That's our appendages, our arms, our legs. That's the stuff that helps us move around. And the muscles join to all of that, and they're the things that are pulling everything, making sure that I can get my hand here, I can wiggle my fingers, I can turn my head side to side, all of those things driven by muscles. Next one we have is the circulatory system. This is my heart, blood, arteries, veins, capillaries, all of that stuff. Basically the transportation system for blood around the body. But it's not just blood. Blood is really important because it's how oxygen gets around the body. It's how our food, all the energy, the glucose, the sugars get around our body to fuel it. It's how our white blood cells, all of our immune system runs off of that. Basically, our circulatory system is a huge conveyor belt running all through our body, getting things where they need to go within our body. After our circulatory system, we're going to look at our digestive system. Now, our digestive system is really important. It's like how we get fuel in our bodies. If I need to fuel up my car, take it to the petrol station, open the cap, get some fuel in, pay for it, I'm good. And it doesn't matter when I use that fuel really, because I only drive my car to a place, stop, and then it just sits there. Human body, on the other hand, is always running. It's always doing stuff. So I need constant fuel, or at least fuel set times throughout the day to refuel. And the digestive system is how we get that. We eat something, it goes into our stomach, through our intestines, stuff goes to the liver. It's a complex system, and I got to say, it's a bit hard to understand, but once you understand it, you can really get an idea of why you might feel ill at certain times, or why you need to eat at certain times in the day, why it takes so long to actually digest food and get rid of the waste, I guess. Cool. After the digestive, we've got the respiratory system. Now, this is really important. You know how I said digestive is getting the fuel in? Well, to use fuel, you need to burn it. Okay, just like if you had a fire, you need to burn the wood. The wood is the fuel. But you need fuel, you need heat in that fire sense, and you also need oxygen. It turns out that we need oxygen to burn the fuel in our bodies as well, which is why we breathe. We're breathing in all the air that is there, taking some of that oxygen and using it in our body to burn all of the energy that we've got stored up in our body so that we can move and we can talk and we can do all of the things that we're doing. Without that oxygen, that fuel would be useless. The last system, no, second, no, it was last system. Sorry, you can see I'm doing this a little bit live. The last system is the reproductive system. Okay, this is basically the system that lets you have kids, right? If you couldn't reproduce, it would be your generation, and then when you're dead and our species is gone. This is what lets you have kids. This is what lets you pass on your genetics to your kids. This is the reason why your kids will look a bit like you. And that's why you look a little bit like your parents, and why you look probably, not guaranteed, but probably very similar to your siblings. We'll also talk a little bit about twins and why twins happen, and we'll also look at what happens with the embryo, because that's really, really fascinating about how babies form while their mum is pregnant. So we're going to look at all of this stuff. I hope you enjoyed that intro. Next video, we're going to dive deep into the skeletal and muscle system, and we're really going to look at what that framework looks like, so that once we put the other systems in, we can see where they fit and how they function inside of that human body, inside of that skeleton and that set of muscles.